Welcome to New Mexico Black Rifle Operators Union. I'm your host, Sean. And I was thinking about this today when I found it. Thank you, Washington Gun Law, again, for sticking up for the Second Amendment and everyone else in the 2A. But going along with the themes that I've had lately about in the political sphere, about how people that are making laws don't know what the hell they're talking about. Senator Neil Anderson, or Bill Anderson, there we go. No, Senator Neil Anderson, I'm getting the name correct, from Illinois, has introduced Senate Bill 2106. I think we need a national version of this, a New Mexico version of this, and every state we can possibly get. And it sounds weird coming from a leftist state, but this is one that could stop exactly what we've all seen and what needs to be fixed, especially in New Mexico and especially at the national level. A short synopsis of this is, this amends the General Assembly Operations Act, provides that any member of the General Assembly, so this is their equivalent to our roundhouse, okay, in New Mexico, who wishes to introduce a bill pertaining to firearms must be able to prove that he or she has completed firearms training requirements under the Firearms Concealed Carry Act, range safety officer training, and a basic knowledge test of calibers, gauges of firearms. Holy crap. Okay, in New Mexico, we don't have the Concealed Carry Firearms Act. We have different laws that govern concealed carry. We do have to take training requirements. You have to do physical training stuff. That would be good in New Mexico. That would be great on a national level. Range safety officer training. Now, I know that this is specific to ranges because some of them use NRA training guidelines. Some of them use their own training guidelines. Either one I would be okay with if they signed off on this senator or representative, if they had, if they were making legislation. And a basic knowledge test of calibers and gauges of firearms. I am all for that as long as the test was written by a neutral party and that wasn't influenced by, well, to be honest, I would love it if it was written by FPC or Gun Owners of America, and that they got to gauge the test, not a super hard one, but one that definitely gauges the knowledge that these senators and representatives who are making these unjust laws have to respond to or have to answer. For instance, full semi-automatic, not a thing, okay? An auto sear, what the hell is it? Why is it already illegal? If something's already illegal, how do you make it more illegal? Okay, so when I saw this morning from Washington Gun Law, I started going through every contact I had in the Senate, New Mexico Shooting Sports Association, in the Roundhouse. I emailed a couple of other senators that I know are more active than New Mexico's senators and reps for their state at the national level. Some of the firebrand from the Freedom Caucus, I tweeted this stuff out, because for the first time, I could see something that makes sense to me as a piece of gun legislation that comes out that would be a direct counter to what is always happening to us. And I've even pinged on Twitter and on YouTube on the gun tubers. I know I'm a small fish in the pond, but it was my attempt to try to get someone to look at this and say, please, for the love of God, why hasn't anyone ever thought of this before? Because think about all those stupid laws that they try to put out. High-capacity magazine, assault rifle bans. High-capacity magazines don't exist. They're standard capacity. Assault weapons are only weapons that you can have in the military. They've been outlawed since 1986, thanks to Reagan. Can we please have a conversation with sane, normal people if you're going to try to push tyranny? And with more and more things coming out, because the news seems to flow around this stuff, and if you're a conspiracy-minded, which I'm not, it looks like it's planned. And it's hard to fight that idea that this is planned because they're highlighted in such a way, these stories. The one in Michigan State that I mentioned before, he didn't use an AR-15. He used a SIG pistol. Now, I don't know what model. I couldn't find that. But it was a pistol nonetheless. Most crimes in the United States are perpetrated by a pistol. Why? Because it's concealable and because they're readily available. Do I have a problem with that? Hell no. I think that everyone should have one. And the reason why is it would stop people cold in their tracks if they went to pull their gun and 2 other people pulled theirs and killed them. Actions have consequences. I am a living believer of that. Because of stupid stuff you do, you're going to have to pay for it one way or another. And if you're stupid enough to draw a gun on an innocent person, you deserve every bit of what comes your way. And I am perfectly okay with that. I think this is the most brilliant idea possible. Why I check out Washington Gun Law. He's a lawyer. He's on YouTube. He's on Twitter. He represents a law firm himself. He doesn't give you advice on what you should do as an individual. He gives you pure information, and with that information, you do you. Again, that is great. That is what the 2A is all about. We've been in this fight, the 2A community, that is, way before the woke culture ever happened. Okay? There's a lot of people in the 2A like Mike from Mr. Guns and Gear, Tim from Military Arms Channel, Eric from Iraq Veteran 8888, Brandon Herrera. They have made their politics known in a roundabout way, but they've given up on trying to have a political debate, except for Brandon, and Mike from Mr. Guns and Gear. Well, I can't even say that about Eric. Tim's the only one that isn't really political. You know his leanings. You know what he doesn't like. But he's kept politics uniquely out of his sphere because he produces quality content around firearms that we all want to see. That's why he's on Rumble. Most of these guys got crapped on by YouTube because they couldn't change a magazine. That video's coming. You're going to see my butt up there doing a Spetsnaz reload on an AK and an AR-15 and some other stuff. Just to show, I'm just going to do this and say, hey, this isn't allowed on YouTube, but this is on Rumble. One of these platforms hates you, the other one doesn't. Where should you go? And that's why this video will drop on Rumble, but the podcast, the audio version of this, audio only, will be on all audio podcasting platforms except for Amazon. I apologize for that. They won't certify who I am no matter what I do. That took a while for Apple to. But that could just be me being technically idiotic. Even though I'm an IT guy, I will fully admit that there are applications that I am not a great person to use with. As you've seen with OBS. I'm still learning OBS. Still learning how to do a great podcast that isn't just fluff. This bill is something I think that everyone, even my small crowd of people, needs to see. Because holy crap, this could be a game changer and would shut up the AOCs and the idiots in Congress and in the roundhouse that have no clue what the hell they're talking about, yet they're trying to pass legislation. Now, I understand this may be a roadblock, because then they're going to counter and say, well, you don't have any way of making legislation on other projects. Fair. However, this particular one pertains to a right granted by God, guaranteed by the Second Amendment in the Bill of Rights. So therefore, I think it ranks a little higher that if you're going to try to curtail this or restrict it or pass tyranny, you need to have some sort of chops to make it legitimate. I've said my piece on Senate Bill 2106 in Illinois. Please contact your reps, your senators, local and nationally, because this could be a game changer to help stop tyranny. Like, share, subscribe, Rumble, comment. Most importantly, be great.